Live, episode 8, This Life in Tech. Welcome, everybody. I'm Jason,
And I'm Dan.
and I don't know, man. This ain't off to a good start. We were going to have a special guest, but apparently, I don't know, is he having technical difficulties?
He's definitely having technical difficulties. I mean, he is like 300 years old. I think he was born in like 1736, so he's pretty fucking old.
I met Grandpa Geoff, man, and I think he'd kick the shit out of you, to be honest with you.
He's still a pretty tough bastard, man. You know, he boxes every day. It's pretty funny. He's at his age, which I think he is. I think in reality, I think he's like 66, 67 years old. You know, he can still do like 20 pull-ups. You know,
Dude, I met him, and the first thing that popped into my mind was, this motherfucker looks like Dirty Harry.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure why he can't get on. I don't know what's going on with him here. We may have to have him on at another time.
That's all right, man.
To talk about some stuff, but it doesn't change what we were looking to talk about. But the first thing we got to talk about is the motherfucker that is constantly putting in the comments for our shows who says I'm the only one talking about myself. I saw that shit just today. I was like, that motherfucker.
Who's that? Who did that?
You. I was like, I can't believe he did that. And then he didn't even say anything that he was going to do it.
Hey, man. Dude, I'm not the dude that says you look like a fucking hobbit.
Look, everything looks like food to that guy. Everything looks like food to Death Star.
Are you calling him a troll?
No, I mean, I did wear this for him the other day, right? Just coming back from RSA. This was remember they had that alter ego stuff that they were pimping out there?
No, I don't.
So it's like several years ago, you go up to the RSA booth and they had, hey, you fill out this kind of questionnaire and we'll tell you what your alter ego is.
Okay.
I don't remember what they were calling it. And so they only had like several of them. And of course the shirt that I got was Troll.
Jesus Christ, man. It's almost like the universe willed it to be. Well, that's like, man, let's talk about RSA real quick, if you don't mind. And then we'll get into the evolution of technology and your big bureaucratic government spaces.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to RSA in a long time. It got a little too vendory for me. And I don't typically interact with a lot of vendors, so I don't have a need for it. But how was it, man?
Oh, dude. It was a lot of snake oil. And it's funny because this kind of puts in from what we were talking about last week. The amount of companies, like the biggest booths out there, were antivirus companies. By far the largest booths for them. Kaspersky, you had what was some of the Trend Micro, Computer Associates. Even I don't know if they have an antivirus anymore. You had, of course, the McAfee booth, which is Intel Security now. You had Symantec. I mean, all these companies, huge, and it's all snake oil. Shit doesn't work.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, man. So last night I was teaching a web dev class, right? And we're doing mean stack, and I'm in the part of it now where I'm teaching them Node.js. And this poor kid, man, it just has this look of pain on his face, like from the get-go. And I'm going through my shit, and we're having a good time. And the whole time, this dude has his head in his laptop, just staring at it with this fucking just painful grimace. And finally, I kind of break everybody up. I get him to work on labs, and I go over to this dude. I'm like, hey, listen, man, because he sits by himself usually. I'm like, what's up? And he's like, dude, I've been trying for a week to get Node installed, and it has an error, and it immediately rolls back. I'm like, show me. So he shows me, and we troubleshoot a little bit. Do you know what it fucking was? Fucking McAfee.
His antivirus.
Yeah. Man, wait, wait, tell me real quick. What year are we in?
This is 2016.
And I still can't install a fucking legitimate application because of antivirus.
Well,
How
it's the wrong model.
That out?
It's the wrong model.
Exactly. Exactly. How the fuck have you not figured that out in 2016, man? It's the 21st century. I can't install legitimate applications because of that McAfee piece of shit. I told the dude to get a new. I told the dude to get a new laptop. Fuck it, just throw it away.
I don't know if he had to go that far, but
it's ruined. It's poison, man. Dude, you can deband the disk and that shit's still there. Just get rid of it. That is the malware. Everybody had a good laugh. Fuck it. Yeah. We needed it, man.
Hey, this is episode 8, right?
It is.
All right, we're gonna. I forgot to send out the Twitter link to everyone. Did you send yours out?
I did.
All right, federal government. There we go. Federal government. Bam. I hope that's right. I didn't really look at it. Oh, anyway.
So yeah, dude, and then you sent me that picture of the. I don't remember the name of the company.
Oh yeah,
that was advertising themselves as the immune system of the internet. Shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah, I thought you'd get a good laugh out of that.
Did you talk to them at all?
No, I couldn't. I already filled my troll quota for the day. But yeah, back with ours. I mean, I don't go out there to see the talks because the talks are all paid for talks for the most part to talk about pitching their product, and so I'm not interested. So I go out there. For the most part, to talk to all the vendors because I want to see what's being sold, and is there going to be a need that they could possibly fill? Because we're talking about Node.js, and because we're thinking about with how we're evolving tech that we may have to start reviewing apps that are written in Node.js, and today there's not a lot of products out there that do static and dynamic code analysis if they're written in Node.js. And I went to all of the vendors that were, actually, I pretty much went by every booth there a couple times, and I found 3 companies, one that just started supporting it last quarter, and the other 2 are supposed to support it next quarter. So it's starting to come up, but it's difficult because all these flavor of the month languages that are out there. I mean, just a couple of years ago, it was Ruby on Rails was the big thing, and everything is constantly changing, and it's kind of hard to keep with the software assurance side of the house. But that was the big reason why I went out to RSA, was to take a look at all the different vendors that are out there and see, can any of them fill the requirements that I have as a CSO for Silent Circle to protect the enterprise, and as well as to protect the products that we have that we're selling.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Greg and I were talking about this when I was in National Harbor a few weeks ago. That especially in the mobile space, man. The one difference between the mobile space and the PC space is the evolution of the hardware, right? The evolution of the hardware in the mobile space is still shifting rapidly. Whereas
it changes every 3 months.
Yeah, the PC space and the hardware, you're getting marginal 5-10% gains at the most every year and a half, right? It's pretty locked in, so it's not evolving fast anymore. You're just getting incremental gains in speed or power efficiency, right?
Right.
In both spaces, there's still massive evolution happening in the software stack. And that's what I find compelling, man. That's what I find compelling. You're right. It was PHP to Ruby on Rails. Now you have Node. Well, I mean, the most popular form of the whole the stack is Mean. But you see this in the pipeline. You and I were talking about this. You see this in the job pipeline. Web developer is dead as a title, man. Now it's DevOps engineer, and it's the same fucking job. But just because it's an engineer, at least here in the West Coast, man, I'm seeing like a 10-20% pay increase just for the fucking name change.
And by the way, they're not real engineers.
Well,
let's get it. They're not engineers. They're still they're operational developers. I don't call anyone an engineer unless they actually have an engineering degree. But yeah, so hey, I'm just calling it how it is. Because if you have an engineering degree, you actually have a discipline behind you, and there's a framework with which you can work from. And people that did computer science, computer science majors are not engineers. If you did computer engineering, all right, we could talk, but they're not doing computer engineering.
Well, at some point, man, I sit back and I looked at that and I'm like, well, it's just the people that couldn't be an architect, which has been a role for a long time, right? and they feel like they suck, so they're going to call themselves something more than a developer. I mean, I don't understand the transition from developer to engineer as a title. I can tell you this: they do the same fucking thing.
Oh yeah, and the other part, which kind of gets into our topic today, this year at RSA, I saw more government agencies actually having booths there than I could ever remember. The FBI was there, DHS was there, NSA had one of the largest booths, or like setups on the floor than vendors. And NASA, I think it was NASA that was there, and a lot of universities were there this time too. But I was shocked. I'm going, here's our tax dollars, and they're going to a snake oil conference like RSA. And I say that because of all the people spending money, all the antivirus companies. They still have the biggest booths out there, and that should tell everyone something, that they've got that much money to spend, because they're just completely killing us when it comes to products that just don't work. It doesn't do anything for today's society. But I will tell you, I went over to the Cylance booth, and that was great, because they put every antivirus vendor like on display and showed exactly why they weren't catching malware.
Well, now, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't there objective criteria through which you can evaluate the efficacy of a product?
Sure. I mean,
so check this out real quick. So that being true, I wonder if either this has been studied, or if we studied it, what the results would be along the lines of, is there an inverse relationship between marketing budget and quality of product?
Oh, absolutely. I think if you take a look at products in general, if you have a good marketing and a good sales team, you can overcome shitty technology because people perceive it to be good. Because sales is about relationships, and people want to be around others that are like them. And so if they feel good about the salesperson, they don't feel like they're a used car salesman, then they have this aspect where they will want to buy. I mean, I remember starting off in the industry, and how many times the director of IT or VP of IT overrode the technology decision because of a relationship they had with a particular vendor.
Yeah, for sure.
So still happens. It still happens.
Well, and what do you think that does for innovation?
Well, of course, it stifles it. I mean, look at what I perceive. I don't know this for fact. The McAfees, the semantics of the world. I think that Cylance will wind up getting bought up by one of them. So not to integrate their technology, but to kill it. They don't want to see a company like Cylance keep going forward. And perhaps they buy them for, I don't know, billions of dollars. If I was in their position, I would take that money. Yeah, I would take it. I would go and be done.
And that's been the model since like the late 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at IBM acquiring ISS.
Yeah.
Or McAfee acquiring Foundstone.
Yep. Sure. And that gets back into the other part of that you had mentioned in terms of, is there a way to evaluate these products, which gets back into the original part of the talk. That is what common criteria is supposed to do. Do you actually do the things that your material says that you do? And here's a way, the protection profile, here's a way in which we're going to do it. And I think that's probably also one of the things that stifles innovation, as well as stifles the aspect for the federal government, or any government agency for that matter, to be able to properly protect themselves. Because the companies like Cylance, even here at Silent Circle, it's cost prohibitive for us to spend all this money for common criteria, FIPS, FedRAMP, being DISA certified. Are you on the Army approved product list? Keep on going down that path. I mean, we're talking millions of dollars of money going out the door just for the license to basically sell. And Well, why do I want to spend all that money if I know the commercial enterprises are going to buy more quickly because they don't care about all that other stuff. They care about a product that works and a product that's going to help move the needle in the direction of protecting them against the evolving threats that are happening. I mean, the threats are going to consistently keep evolving. Either technology companies keep up with it or new ones pop up.
Well, and what I've seen, man, like, and teaching at a giant state school, right? That's part of probably one of the biggest, certainly in the top 3 systems well, at least in this country for sure, if not the whole world.
Well, California is the largest overall state. So
yeah. I mean, there's 20 some, 22, 23 Cal states, and I teach at one of them. They're giant, man, giant. It's a giant bureaucratic nightmare. And what I've seen, man, is these frameworks that can be used to evaluate technology end up not being used to the spirit that they were intended, which is let's sort through the snake oil and find the good product for us and our situation and our risk profile and so forth and so on, right? Our mission, our vision, whatever. Those frameworks end up getting used to reinforce status quo. And they get used as a means to justify why things aren't good, rather than being used to justify why one thing or two things are good, right? Because that should be the point. You should be able to use this checklist framework, whatever it is, common criteria, whatever, and say at the end of the day, okay, these things match my characteristics for use. And here's the scores. I picked the best one. They're not used that way, in my view, from what I've seen. They're used to justify why things aren't fitting. It's like when you interview people and you set out to find excuses not to like them. Why the fuck would you interview that way? You should be looking for somebody that matches, that you like, that fits, that will work.
Yeah,
right?
Which is the closest fit.
Right. Instead, some people, especially in big bureaucratic nightmares, right? We've both experienced this. It's reinforcing the status quo. And that it's part of human culture. But I think with the evolution of technology, it's killing it. It's killing it unnecessarily. And if we're ever going to have a hope of getting out of some of the messes we're in my opinion, we need to let go and stop. Just stop. Stop fucking using antivirus, man. At some point, you have to say to yourself, look, man, all this does is consume resources. I looked at this poor dude's processor, and McAfee was eating up like 50% of his disk I/O and like 60% of his CPU. And dude, we're just trying to install fucking Node.js, man. It's just JavaScript. It's a piece of software that's supposed to be a security enclave. How do you not recognize what that is and why it's being used? Because you're dumb. You're dumb, and you don't do anything except consume resources. I mean, anyway.
It's funny that you basically say that, because one of the largest programs of the Department of Defense is called HBSS, Host-Based System Security. And the winner is McAfee. It's all about endpoint control. And it is just every time I go, when I was doing a lot of consulting with the Fed, specifically in DoD, when we go and talk to them, it literally, you would talk to one of the commands and they hate the whole product suite set that's there, because it's killing their resources. They can't be productive. Now, again, if it actually worked, no problem. But I don't need to write malware today for anything in order for me to get access to your systems, because people just don't patch their systems. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, I was having to have this discussion with some people at the university. They were like, well, why don't you care about the antivirus that they have on there? Dude, you can have the best antivirus in the world, but if you're running Windows XP, it doesn't matter. Because say something like Cylance, which it seems to be getting really good reviews. I know the people over there. I like what they're doing. It doesn't work on Windows XP.
No.
So it could protect them even if they wanted to. It just doesn't protect them.
And look at it from let's say you and I, or you, fuck it, right? One of us is running McAfee. Why would you change? You've created this giant status quo, and you're just raking in free money, right? You're just raking it in. There's no market pressure for the evolution to take place, right? There's no selective pressure there.
But I do have an incentive, if I am a McAfee, a Kaspersky, a Symantec of the world, to buy up technologies that will make me look bad.
Right. Well, yeah, because you're removing that selective pressure that will cause you to evolve. It's much less costly in every use of that term to just acquire it and kill it.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's when we start talking about the governments, the U.S. federal government. I spent a lot of my time working with the U.S. Fed for my career, and they have all of these check boxes that you have to meet. And those check boxes have nothing to do with whether or not the product is going to be able to secure the enterprise that I have to protect. If you take a look at any government agency, especially at the cabinet level, they are a large enterprise made up of other large enterprises. Their IT budget, their security budget is bigger than the Fortune 100 because of the amount of data that they're trying to protect, the classification levels that they're trying to protect, and the amount of users they have to protect it against. So a small company that comes out that's brand new, it's got great tech, it's got great backing, they're moving forward, but the amount of time it takes for me to get FIPS and common criteria, we're talking, they will tell you 10 months, but that's bullshit because you don't have the documentation necessary yet in order to be able to even go through the process. If you started today with your documentation in order to basically get it to the par to do common criteria, it's going to take you 3 to 6 months. So 3 to 6 months to do that, plus 10 months in the process. My product has already changed how many times?
Well, naturally it would, but because of this artificial status quo that's created, it can't, right?
And so the government then takes a look at, okay, well, this is the version that was certified. Well, can you tell me that version? Dude, that version's end of life. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, at that point,
we're updating. You're always 18 months behind.
Right, especially for a startup that's trying to move fast, you're at least one major version ahead at that point.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they have an update process, things like that, but that also takes time. And so for me to go out and maintain common criteria here in the US, FIPS, and NIAP's different really for their protection profiles for mobile. They've got some protection profiles. I might be a little bit wrong. Someone could always fact check me, but I'm pretty sure some of the protection profiles that NIAP has put out are not yet accepted by the overall common criteria body. So specifically the ones for mobile, I don't remember seeing the ones for mobile that have been put over there. And that makes it difficult because think about right now, I mean, here we are at Silent Circle and, we're probably going to have to go through this process, but it makes it challenging. For us because it's cost prohibitive. But if you're trying to sell to the enterprise, what's a bigger enterprise than any government agency out there? Because they always have money to spend.
Yeah, they always have money to spend. So check this out, man. I got 5 minutes before my next appointment. I got one last question to kind of wrap this thought up. Based on the evolution, the profiles, etc., right? The snake oil. Could it be possible that Hillary Clinton's email server that she was running out of her bathroom was actually more secure than it would have been if it was in a facility?
Anything's possible, but I doubt it. I doubt it.
Why would you put it in the fucking bathroom, man? Why?
I don't know why she put it in the bathroom, but I don't think it was. Mainly because it's Hillary Clinton. I mean, there's no way that she could have personally paid enough money to have proper protections around everything there. But I bet you Bill's phone is much more secure than anyone else's phone out there. I mean, you see all these pictures of Bill Clinton at all these events and him eyeing other women walking around. He's like constantly caught. Dude, someone tell that guy to get some sunglasses.
Hey, man.
Just get wear some sunglasses, bro. Someone needs to tell Bill to get some sunglasses.
It's an interesting phenomena.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I don't believe Hillary. I mean, look, Hillary's email server was no way it was secure. I absolutely guarantee that she had information on there that should not have been on there. And if it was you or I that did something like that, we would be in Leavenworth right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, man. I mean,
and this is what and not that we really get political on the show, but this is what I think is really going to wind up happening. She's going to go through. She's going to get probably indicted, and then President Obama just pardons her.
It'll be interesting to watch how it plays out.
And then it'll be like it never happened. It won't matter. There's nothing anyone can do because the president has the power to pardon anyone basically on anything. And so it's like it didn't happen. Like, no, you're just excused.
So do you think in the legacy of Clintons, which one's worse? Getting your dick sucked or having a fucking private email server in your the bathroom man is the one that kills me. Why would you ever say that? I mean, first of all, how does it matter in any way? How's that different than a closet? Like somehow, like, because you're in the bathroom so much, you're constantly watching it. I don't get it. Right. I just don't understand the argument at all. But
I don't understand the argument either. But in terms of which one's worse, I mean, I think Hillary's done a lot of really bad things. But what politician hasn't? Well, I don't know that hers is any worse. She just happened to get caught. So what else is everyone doing? Because I think one of the things she had said was, well, we're all doing these kind of things. Well, that's bad. That's really bad. That's the reason why I've got LifeLock for life due to OPM being compromised because, they're not putting proper protections out there.
Yeah, like somehow it's because everybody else is shitty. It becomes an excuse to be shitty yourself. I mean, that's an intellectual cop-out. You just don't have the personal integrity to be a hero. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like we got to say this last part. It's kind of like with what McGregor was talking about yesterday to Diaz. One, he's like, that's what a man does when he's scared. He starts to deflect. He starts to put the spotlight on something else because you're scared. And so I know we're getting ready to sign off. I say McGregor knocks him out second round.
You knew what, round. You knew what my question was going to be. I was going to ask for a prediction.
McGregor second round before the 2-minute mark.
I don't know, man.
I think Diaz stays away. He does not want McGregor hitting him with that uppercut.
It's interesting you say uppercut because Diaz leans far forward when he throws his straight.
Yep.
He really leans over and he's going to eat it, man. I don't know if he can make it out of the first round. I don't know if he can help himself.
I think he stays away.
That would be the smart thing to do.
Yep. And then his corner's going to tell him, with his brother Nick is going to be telling him, all right, you're bigger than him. You got to get a hold of him. And that's going to be a mistake because, McGregor will do some dirty boxing. He's going to duck under. He's going to hit him with that uppercut coming right up. And it's going to, and Nick is, or rather Nick's little brother is going to go to sleep.
Did you just see that? That was so funny when he said you make gun signs with one hand and make balloon animals with the other. That was fucking classic. Yeah.
Oh, well, yesterday, Connor told him to dance for him. And while he's dancing, don't look me in my eye.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Oh, God.
Oh, my. Yeah, all right. Well, hey, that was episode 8 in the bag. Some evolution of technology in the federal government. It's not evolving too much. Hopefully we'll be able to get maybe Grandpa to at least write us a little blog or something. And I am going to give him shit about, the reason why he can't use the technology is he's still back in George Washington's time trying to help him load the latest guns or something.
Rubbing two sticks together trying to create internet.
Yeah. Him and Ben Franklin making electricity.
That's episode 8. Have a good weekend, everybody. Like us, make comments, subscribe. Love you. Bye.
Bye.